were you more impressed with Kansas City's performance or more disappointed in how the Detroit Lions played?
My takeaway in this game is the Chiefs got it going and played well on Sunday night in a game where Mahomes threw 3 TD passes that ended in a fight. And I would say I'm more impressed with the Chiefs' win because the Lions were on a 4-game win streak, right? And they had a lot of momentum. They came into this game very confident, having played very well the last 4 games. The offense really clicking. The running game doing extremely well. The Chiefs really in a kind of a must-win situation at 2-3. They go 2-4 and lose at home. Really didn't speak very well and would put their playoff chances in deep jeopardy. So I was impressed that the Chiefs came out and played the way they did. I think that the Chiefs had no penalties, no turnovers. That speaks to a very disciplined, well-coached team, which they've always been. The Lions defense, they're banged up. They're missing Reed, Arnold, and Maddox, and they still, played decent. And I like the Lions a lot. I think they were disappointed that they didn't play better. I mean, their running game, Gibbs 17 for 65, Montgomery 4 for only 24. That's not very good. Williams, the wide receiver, 6 for 66. Laporta 5 for 55, and Goff, good accuracy-wise, 23 of 29, 203 yards and 2 touchdowns. But I'm sure the Lions are disappointed in their performance. On the other hand, Mahomes is playing well this year. I think he's playing better this year than he did last year. 22 of 30, 257, and the 3 TDs that I mentioned. Pacheco, I mean, their running game, they really still haven't gotten that going. Pacheco, 12 for 51. Kelsey out there, 6 for 78. That was good for him. And just 3 for 57. But a lot of receivers involved in this game, and Mahomes spreading the ball around. Great game by Mahomes and the Chiefs. I thought in the defense, stopping the Lions' running game or minimizing the damage from it, I thought was great. And then Brian Branch hitting Schuster at the end of the game with a right hook. That's uncalled for. And even Dan Gamble said, that's not our team, and there's no place for somebody like that on our team. So I don't know what's going to happen to Brian Branch.
He's suspended without pay for a game.
Okay.
Which is against Tampa, I might add, which is interesting.
Yeah. So I still like the Lions to be a contender in the NFC. Looks like the Chiefs are found it now. They've, that game they lost against the Jaguars are very surprising to me that they lost that game and the way they lost it. And I think it was a wake-up call in a way, and they showed it on Sunday night.
Well, I think that for me, obviously, because I picked this team, although you just take a look at the team culture and the team, I was very much more disappointed in the Lions than I was impressed with the Chiefs. Because I think the Lions started off exactly what I think a lot of teams should do. If you have a level of confidence, if you have a level of success against Mahomes, and I don't know, you think for 2 seconds and say, what side do we want to, allow them to potentially set the tone of how this game's going to go? Us or a 3-time Super Bowl champion with the greatest offensive coach, one of the greatest tight ends of all time, and arguably, already a top 5 quarterback of all time? Who do we want to set the tone? The Lions said, we do. Smart. And that's exactly what they did. They ran up and down the field that opening drive. With Jared Goff looking lights out on his passes, the running game was all right, and I'll get into that in a second. But Jared Goff made some crazy throws, kept the sticks moving, and then you get down to maybe the 3-inch line, and you pass it on a trick play that was illegal that Dan Campbell still doesn't fully understand how it's illegal. Fine. But why don't you run the ball in that circumstance? At the 10-yard line, at the 7-yard line, all you were doing is running and getting closer and closer and closer and closer. You needed to go 3 inches. Jared Goff could take it. Hell, put a lineman in the backfield and push him. Do a tush push. Put Sam Laporta there. Put Wright the tight end there. Put whoever you want there. Hand the ball off. Just push. You have to go literally reach over the end. Jared Goff's done that before. That's all you have to do. I thought that was really bad. But I don't really care about the trick play because it technically, yes, it was a legal formation. Jared Goff needed to stop for a second. If he did that, it would have been a successful play, and I do like how they opened the game with 2 trick plays. They did the amon-ra catch and then, hand it off right after he catches the ball, and then this one right at the goal line. So I like the creativity, but ultimately I think that, again, another great team didn't play into a Chiefs weakness because for some reason, they didn't run play action as often as they have been the entire season. They ran it about 18% of the time, which is the second lowest that they've run it this year besides their blowout against Cleveland. But they've run it 38, 44, 50% of the time in these games, and then they ran it about 18%, and Kansas City is dead last while defending the play action. Hell, the Chiefs with a worse running attack and one that didn't perform as well, they ran play action over 32% of the time. They can't run the ball effectively. But yet they stuck with it. They ran play action a bunch. They ran 11 personnel, which forced the Lions into base defense, So they couldn't, switch it up to nickel or change their defensive formation. They had to stick with what I guess they do best against 11 personnel. I thought the defense, it was very underwhelming. After, what they've been doing recently with their great game planning in crucial moments against Baltimore, against the offense. Don't worry about the defense. Baltimore's defense is abysmal. But what they did against Lamar Jackson, yes, they allowed 30 points, but when it mattered, though, we saw Lamar Jackson in the red zone look lost, confused, and nervous, stopped Derrick Henry at the 1, forced a strip sack turnover on downs for Lamar right by the red zone. And in this one, they allowed a 3rd and 18 check down pass that went 17 yards. They stopped him on 4th down, although some could argue it was DPI. But the fact that you even allowed the Chiefs to get even that close to potentially converting on a 3rd and 18 was a bit ridiculous. I thought that they played a lot of weird coverages. A lot of guys are wide open. No defenders on the screen, really. Xavier Worthy had a couple great plays, and they always do that jet sweep motion right by the goal line. They did it in the Super Bowl to win. They did it for Xavier Worthy in this one to score a touchdown. I believe they may have also done it with Hollywood Brown to score a touchdown. They do this a lot. So it's unfortunate that the Lions couldn't exactly catch on it, but here's the most disappointing part of it for me. This should have been a 35-40 pass attempt game for Jared Goff. It ended up being a 29, but Jared Goff should have threw it way more. Because Jared Goff on early downs, they ran it in the first half 77% of the time on first down. The runs were 4 yards, 4 yards, 2 yards, 4 yards, 3 yards, 13 yards, technically an explosive play, 6 yards, 5 yards, 15 yards, 6 yards, 5 yards, 2 yards, minus 3 yards. Those were all of their first down runs. The first down passes, 15 yards, minus 1 yard, 5 yards, 15 yards, 23 yards, 12 yards, 11 yards, 6 yards, 14 yards, 5 yards, 9 yards. 10.3 yards an attempt. He went 11 of 11 on first down, compared to 5.07 yards a carry for the running game. And second down, Jared Goff went 8 of 10, 4.7 yards an attempt, and a touchdown, and the running game went 3.16 yards a carry. I thought that the game planning was a bit rough. Yes, you have a brand new OC and need to get some kinks worked out against a serious competitor like Steve Spagnuolo's defense, and ultimately living up to the matchup of versing the Kansas City Chiefs, who just made it to the Super Bowl and made it to what, 3 straight, 4 out of 5, 5 out of 6. So I understand it was a tall task for a new set of coordinators, but I do think that the defense was a bit lackluster. The tackling was a bit bad. I thought that the coverages were a little soft. Travis Kelce could go anywhere he wanted to. He normally does that, but not a lot of chip blocks to maybe throw Kelce off at the line of scrimmage. There was a third down where you could have had your lineman chip him for a second and maybe get him off. I thought Amik Robertson, I believe it was on the Xavier Worthy touchdown, he tried to press, and because Xavier Worthy is too shifty, he just did a little juke move, completely evaded the press coverage, and was able to score the touchdown. But I think that game planning wise, it was poor. I think that offensively, you should have thrown it way more than you did. I understand clock management, keep the ball moving, but you were throwing it at such an effective level on first down. How about this? You throw it on first down, then you run it 2 more times. That would be better than running it on first down 77% of the time, and your offense puts up what? 10 points in the first half? 6 points in the first? I think it was 10 points in the first half. But use what's working. That's the issue. You've been doing play action at such a high rate. Jared Goff, I think, has the second highest passer rating in play action, one of the highest completion percentages. He might be third. He's number one in EPA in play action. Like, he's a top 3 quarterback in play action, and they ran it 18% of the time when they're running it 44, 38, 45.
I think that's a good point, but I do think the Lions are a ground and pound. They like to think of themselves as ground and pound, I think.
I put David Montgomery out there more than they
did. Sonic and Knuckles. I mean, they have that moniker and that theme that they're going to beat you up, and that's what they were trying to do, and it didn't work.
Well, I think also the Chiefs just played a more physical style of football. That's something else I was disappointed about. It's all about biting kneecaps and physicality with finesse as well. Ground and pound, like you said. Dan Campbell, go for it on 4th down. And the Chiefs just said, we're going to play bully ball. So much so that Brian Branch said he was getting bullied out on the field. You're playing professional football. People getting heads bashed into one another. Grow a pair a little bit.
Yeah, and punching a guy at the end of the game after it's over when they're walking off the field.
They embarrassed you.
That's an embarrassment.
They're embarrassed. Yeah, and Dan Campbell, rightfully so, as a head coach should, unlike what Mike McDaniel did and just said, a bunch of nothing, essentially. He should be a politician, by the way. Mike McDaniel will be a great, great politician. He just goes on and on and on. You lose interest about 3 seconds after he starts speaking. Dan Campbell took accountability, said that's not what we do here. It's not what they do. They're a significantly better culture than that. It's disappointing. He's suspended for a game. But I think ultimately, no. I think that the Chiefs just did what they normally do. And good teams in big spots also, unfortunately, do what they normally do. They don't play to either their strength or the Chiefs' weakness. Chiefs were dead last against play action. You run it 18% of the time, the second fewest this season. It just doesn't make a lot of sense.
They ran it 77% of the time.
They ran it on 1st down 77% of the time. They ran play action.
Oh, play action only
18% of the time. A little over 18%. I think the number is 19.4% of the time. You're running it 38%, 44% throughout the season. Mahomes with no running game ran it over 32% of the time. They have no running game. There's no real, the threat of play action isn't there when you can't run the football. To me, it didn't make a lot of sense. It was an unfortunate situation because I thought the Lions, they looked good. The offense looked good in spots. They rebounded. The Chiefs scored a touchdown. The Lions respond with a Jamison Williams touchdown. Mm-hmm. And then the offense just goes cold.
This game proved to me the Chiefs are good.
Very good.
And they have Rashee Rice coming back.
He's back, yeah.
And they got to get their running game going a little more, and they got to get just a little better on defense. And then I think they're going to be right in it again.
Well, Mahomes just became a co-favorite for MVP, as well as the Chiefs are now co-favorites for the Super Bowl.
Oh.
Tied with the Buffalo Bills, who I also don't think, after losing to the Atlanta Falcons.
They've kind of fallen off a little bit.
That game was ugly. I'm sure we'll get into it when you do your weekly recap. It's a good win for the Chiefs. They look like they're back. I just feel like this was a complete missed opportunity. And even, Joseph, the safety for the Detroit Lions, said that playing Mahomes isn't really that hard.
Oh, yeah?
Kirby Joseph.
He had 3 touchdowns.
Right. And also, you lost by, 13 points. You got decimated when it mattered. 3rd downs, you got cooked. 2nd and longs, you're getting absolutely obliterated. They're going 8, 9 yards. You was a 3rd and 18, and you let JuJu Smith-Schuster, who, by the way, was like a 4-yard pass behind the line of scrimmage, run 17 yards to a 4th and 1.
Yeah.
You ended up stopping them, but it shouldn't have even come to a 4th and 1 potential conversion. Hi, everybody. Thank you for watching this clip of the Harvey Hour. If you want to watch the full show, you can by clicking the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to take the show with you on the go, it is available wherever you get your podcast. We go live here on YouTube every single Tuesday and Friday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, so make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, and the notification bell to get notified whenever we upload a video and whenever we go live.